There's been some interesting developments the last few days, guys, going around the internet in regards to Kuro Games and Hoyoverse as well, and how we could be seeing these two companies going head-to-head once again, but not in the gacha space. We're going to look at some job advertisements from both companies and try and infer what they could be working on. It's a little bit more obvious with Hoyo's, but a little bit less so with Kuro, but we can kind of get an idea of potentially what this could be. So we're looking at a job description advertisement here for an employee application, or they're advertising for jobs, Kuro are, and we can see down here that they want somebody to lead the design of stress testing solutions of over 10,000 people, so it's going to be online. They want somebody to be proficient in Unreal and Unity as well, and be experienced in esports. So it's safe to say they want somebody who's capable of leading the charge on an online competitive multiplayer game. And there's tags here for RTS, fighting games, MOBAs, RPGs and shooting games as well, which leads me to believe potentially we're looking at something like a MOBA or a hero shooter maybe, or a bit of a mix of both, something like Deadlock potentially. We saw the meteoric rise recently of Marvel Rivals, and we know that Overwatch was the big don for a while. Overwatch 2 didn't really hit in the same hype. It didn't hit with the same hype, did it? So kind of fell off, but we know there's a big audience out there for hero shooters and those sort of competitive online games, isn't there? Especially with a bit of an anime twist as well. I think there's a massive audience there for that, and it seems like Kuro Games are trying to lean into this. Now this to me sounds like this might be potentially the shadowy hand of Tencent, or maybe the amazing enlightened hand of Tencent. We know that Tencent now own 51% of Kuro Games, or round about that. Now this was in the works, I think, prior to this, maybe, because this might be Project Nami. Again, massive assumption, maybe it's not. There was the idea that Project Nami was going to be this like Gravity Rush type gacha game. I think there was some crossed wires there, and I think that was actually Project 2/3 Utopia, which people were thinking was, because that's kind of a bit like Gravity Rush in my opinion. Maybe this is what Project Nami was. And of course, purchases like the Tencent purchase don't happen overnight, so it's potentially a thing that this was happening with Tencent knowing this was going to be a thing when they were purchasing, and it was maybe a caveat of the purchase. Look, we're going to buy the majority of shares. I know it was a third-party sale, but we want you to start working on a new game potentially, and we're going to invest in the company, and we're going to give you a shit ton of money to go out and make something to challenge the online games in the global space. Very interesting to see. I'm going to get back to Kuro in a second, because I want to talk about my cynical side of things and my worries as well, okay? But let's hop over to this post here from Hesketh on Twitter. And we've got a post here for a couple of games that Hoyo are working on. I think they're working on like 3 to 5 games actually. And this game here is a hero shooter. And I did check this, that it does say that they want somebody with a deep learning or understanding of online players and online games or something like that. The translation was a bit scuffed, or I think it was round about the same as what other people were getting translations of here. But if you look over on Reddit, I know it's Reddit, take it with a pinch of salt, but this is what I got from the translations of using Google Lens here as well. And it was a hero shooter with a European and American cartoon aesthetic, with shooting, near future, fantasy, multiplayer as well. And of course it just mentions, you know, like 3D animation, all that sort of stuff in the description there as well. So it's clear that Hoyo want to start working on, or are working on, a hero shooter with a European and American cartoon aesthetic. So does that mean something in the guise of something like Marvel's or DC, that sort of look? Be interested to see Hoyo make a game that's got like that sort of Western comic look. Actually, that would probably be pretty cool. But yeah, Hoyo are working on like a myriad of games actually. This one we do know for a fact is being worked on, because we've actually saw gameplay of this one. It's like an Animal Crossing type game, and gameplay leaked about a year ago for this, and it was doing the rounds on the internet. So I've actually saw the gameplay for this one. Whether it's still in development, who knows, but it was being worked on, and it was in a playable state. So it's a good shout that all of these are being worked on as well. So we know that Hoyo are working on this, or at least potentially working on this. But let's go back to Kuro and what I was talking about, my cynical thoughts and worries. Of course, I'm a big fan of Wuthering Waves, and Kuro Games are a much smaller entity than MiHoYo, and I like Wuthering Waves, and my worry is that this potentially can catapult Kuro to something like the next Blizzard. Let's just say it's their World of Warcraft, right? Would that put Wuthering Waves on the back burner? Would it push Tencent to nudge Kuro Games into prioritizing that, ignoring Wuthering Waves, and inevitably leading to a reduction in quality and updates, and just the game just not being as good as what it possibly could be? Hopefully not. Hopefully this game comes out and is a success, and both games do brilliantly along with PGR, but there is the worry that they potentially could be biting off more than they can chew as well, and juggling too many plates. Prior to PGR, I had Twin Tail Battlegrounds, then PGR, and now Wuthering Waves and PGR. That's like their peak in terms of attempting to do multiple things at once. But there's that worry there for me that, like, you know, this could pull away from Wuthering Waves and dilute the waters over there, so to speak. Of course, they're going to be expanding the team, and there's going to be more people brought on. But, you know, this can happen in games sometimes. They try to take on too many projects at once, and it ends up just negatively impacting everything. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because I care about Wuthering Waves. Now, with MiHoYo, I suppose I can be a little bit more excited without the worry, because I am incredibly excited for this, don't get me wrong. But with MiHoYo and MiHoYo, I don't care about Genshin, I don't care about Star Rail anymore. I really like Zenlist, but I'm expecting MiHoYo to shit on Zenlist anyway. So with this game coming or not, I think they'd probably ruin Zenlist in the long run. I'm still enjoying it, and I'm going to keep enjoying it until they do, but there's that expectation that that's going to happen there from MiHoYo. So it allows me to be like, okay, I can be a little bit excited about this and not worry too much about what it means for the rest of the games, because this is what MiHoYo do, and they'll probably do it to this game as well. Interesting to see if they can get away with running a multiplayer live service game as well, because they're not going to get away with ignoring the player base on a game like this anyway, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this. I'm super tired, guys. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I need to get some sleep. But I really wanted to talk about this with you guys, because I was thinking about it earlier, actually. We spoke about it in the stream. And I just wanted to show you guys the actual post from Kuro as well, because I don't think a lot of people actually know about this, to be fair, because it's been doing the rounds, but it's gone under the radar at the same time. And I think it's very interesting. I think it definitely, it smells of Tencent, you know, it definitely smells of Tencent. And what do you think? What would you like to see? Would you like to see them go down the RTS route, the MOBA route, a fighting game route? Or would you like to see them do a shooter, hero shooter kind of game? Or maybe just like some kind of online RPG? You know, would we see them do an MMO? Probably not. I tend to lean into the idea of it being some kind of hero shooter or MOBA game personally. I think that's where we'll go with it, but we don't know. This is a bit of a broad spectrum of skill sets and multiple tags and such as well. All we can say is that it's going to be online, it's going to have some sort of esports element, so the idea of it being an MMO or an RPG makes me think that's probably not the case, because if an esport, but you can have an esport MMO, not really. You can have an esport RPG, probably not, but an esport hero shooter fighting game or MOBA is definitely something that's possible, isn't it? And it'll be interesting to see these guys go up against each other outside the gacha space, actually, because Kuro have kind of been mogging MiHoYo recently, haven't they? Or at least Wuthering Waves has been mogging the shit out of Genshin in regards to just catching W's all the time while Genshin catches L's. Now, MiHoYo have been catching W's in terms of revenue, while Kuro haven't been catching L's, but just not been catching as big W's. But yeah, be interesting to see how these guys stack up against each other outside of the realm of the gacha space, and to see what the next step is for Kuro with this Tencent bag behind them, because they are now in the realm of potentially having access to infinite funds with Tencent, really, aren't they? So be interesting to see where they go with this. Very curious about it. Also a little bit worried, again, you know, I worry about where Tencent are going to take the company, but at the same time, quietly excited about it as well. And just, you know, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. And yeah, I'm excited about the Hoyoverse games. I kind of want to see MiHoYo working on a Western-style animated game. You know, something that kind of looks like Western comic books, or a hero shooter. Sounds kind of cool to me, if you ask me. And of course, I'll be looking forward to this as well from Kuro Game. Probably a long way away for both games, guys, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you excited? Do you not give a shit? Are you indifferent? I'd love to know. And guys, if you did enjoy the video as well, give it a like, and I'll see you all in the next video. Jedi.